Hey dudes, have you ever heard a rumor that just seemed a little too real and you were sure that there just had to be some truth to it? Like, I don't know, when I was in school, we always heard about a super secret Mortal Kombat code that would let you see Sonya Blade butt-ass naked.
Gimme, gimme, gimme!
Or maybe you incorrectly believe that Wyoming is a state. In the pre-internet days, we all seemed to share a subconscious knowledge, like how to draw this S symbol. I mean, they were in every town, on everybody's notebook, yet we don't know who started it. But when the internet started popping up in households in America,
surf the web, surf the web.
It was the wild west of information, as well as the breeding ground for some really unusual rumors regarding celebrities. Mariah Carey is perhaps one of the biggest divas to ever exist in American culture. Busting onto the pop scene in 1990 with her self-titled debut, Carey quickly rose in fame. And in that time, she became the first artist since the Jackson 5 to have their first 4 singles top the charts in the United States. It would be an understatement to say that Mariah became a household name during an era that brought us mega hits from female artists like Madonna, Whitney Houston, and Janet Jackson. And it probably goes without saying that in our celebrity-obsessed culture, we take pleasure, in some part, when an artist or actor gets put through the ringer. I mean, we have tabloid magazines that make huge profits off fabricated stories, and just like a train wreck, we find it hard to look away. Now, what does this have to do with the rumor about Mariah Carey? Well, in the 90s, our TVs were inundated with ads from many nonprofit organizations like Save the Children. And much like my next door neighbor's son feeling the need to tell me about what he did in Roblox today, I don't care, Jonathan. It was inescapable. Now, when most people see images of pain and suffering, especially when it comes to children, we feel something inside of us. You know, empathy, compassion, a general sense of wanting to right these wrongs in our world. Not Mariah Carey though. The songbird supreme felt something more when confronted with the images of suffering children. She felt jealousy. In 1996, during an interview with a web publication called Cupcake, great name, Carey was quoted as saying, "When I watch TV and see those poor starving kids all over the world, I can't help but cry. I mean, I'd love to be skinny like that, but not with all those flies and death and stuff." I have never heard her speak. Soon Vox, the British culture and music publication, picked up the quote, and then The Independent, and then dozens of newspapers and magazines throughout the world were attributing this quote to the Christmas Queen. But here's the thing, there's no real record of her having ever said this. The interview was just a satirical and fictitious piece of work that just one day appeared on the internet in 1996. Now look, I tried digging deeper into the internet archives to find something related to an online publication called Cupcake. But all I could find was an article asking what cupcakes were like in the 1700s. They sounded gross. And of course, millions of photographs of the delicious dessert, which then made me hungry. So I got myself a snack.
Holy cannoli!
And here we are. The point is, this never happened. The heroin chic look of the 90s was certainly a popular and really shitty, unhealthy look that managed to harm the self-esteem of millions of women across the world at that time. And maybe some people genuinely had that thought cross their mind without shame. While I'd like to believe that this quote for a fake publication was meant to be harmless, even if distasteful, you can't help but wonder if in our celebrity-obsessed culture in the US, somehow played a part in trying to tear down a person with something so outrageous that would make people say, yeah, I could see her saying that. After all, since that time, Mariah has done and said some absolutely wild things over the years.
Is it true she gave some script notes? What script notes did she give when she arrived?
Well, one script note was like, I don't want to do this scene.
Okay.
Even though it was totally approved ahead of time.
And because I was pregnant when I was creating this stuff, I was like, uh-oh, I need a camouflagean moment.
I really haven't paid attention to Madonna since I was in like 7th or 8th grade when she used to be popular.
So I didn't.
Okay, now Mariah, Ariana Grande, they always say she's a young Mariah. How do you feel about those comparisons?
First of all, I'm still young because I discount numbers. Numerically speaking,
Okay.
I stopped counting at 17, so I don't know.
So would a quote about being jealous of poor, starving kids thousands of miles away really be outside the realm of possibility for somebody who bathes herself in milk?
What?
It's pretty amazing that even after all of these years, people still think Mariah said this, and yet it had very little effect on her decades-long career. And that's going to do it for this episode of I Missed the 90s. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank the righteous dudes on my Patreon for helping make this episode possible. What about you? Are there any 90s rumors that you believed and found out years later that it just wasn't true? Or that you still think is true? Like Richard Gere and a gerbil. Or Marilyn Manson removing a rib to do something to another thing on his body.
What?
Well, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Until next time, dudes, I am Mike O'Connor. Later.